I was bringing stomach medicine to the man I'd loved for 10 years, only to overhear his conversation with an old classmate. Zoe is a great girl, but still, someone who throws herself at you is always lacking something. It's not as satisfying as the chase. I turned around and threw the medicine in the trash. I was at the pharmacy by my apartment complex buying medicine for Liam when my best friend, Sophie, called. Last night, his company had a business dinner. As the project lead, he had, unsurprisingly, drunk too much. I had tried video calling him a few times before bed, but he didn't answer. In the morning, I saw a text he'd sent in the middle of the night. Zoe, my stomach hurts. I could almost picture the 6'1" man curled up under the covers, looking pitiful as he texted me. I couldn't help but chuckle. Who would have thought that the usually aloof Liam could be so needy in private? I got up and cooked him a pot of seafood porridge. My mom is a doctor, so I grew up picking up a lot of medical knowledge. Liam had a sensitive stomach and had to drink often for work. To help him, I'd pulled out every trick I'd learned since I was a kid. Once the porridge was ready, I carefully sealed it in a container and headed straight for his place. Just as I reached his building, I remembered his stomach pain and ducked into the pharmacy at the entrance to grab him some medicine. Sophie always said I was practically Liam's second mother, that no one else in the world would take care of him like I did. The elevator reached the 6th floor as Sophie's voice continued through the phone. By the way, why didn't you come to our 8-year high school reunion last night? I even brought a bottle of low-alcohol fruit wine for you. I froze. What reunion? Sophie was surprised. What happened? You didn't know? My boyfriend told Liam and asked him to tell you so you could come together. Liam showed up, but you didn't. My heart skipped a beat. Last night, didn't he tell me he had a work dinner? Sophie paused. Hannah was there last night, too. At first, I thought you didn't come because you wanted to avoid the awkwardness, but from the sound of it, Liam never even told you. My steps came to an abrupt halt. I hadn't heard that name in years. In high school, Hannah was my best friend. I shared all my secrets with her without reservation, including the fact that I'd had a crush on my childhood friend, Liam, since I was 15. At the time, she seemed startled for a moment, then smiled and said we should focus on our studies. Of course, I knew that. Liam was a top student, and his goal was King's University in our city. I wasn't a bad student either, though my grades were a little short of King's. I believed that with enough hard work, I could get into the same university as him. Later, when I finally received my acceptance letter from King's and ran excitedly to tell Liam, ready to confess my feelings, I saw them under the awning at the end of the alley, he and Hannah, kissing. My ears were ringing. All I could hear was my own short, sharp breaths. Each breath was a stab of pain in my chest. Later, Hannah told me she and Liam had been together for a long time, because I had told her I liked him. She was conflicted and didn't know if she should tell me the truth, which is why she kept it a secret. Zoe, she said, I don't want to lose Liam, but I don't want to see you sad either. I lowered my head, my eyes aching terribly. My feelings for Liam became a secret I could never voice. That summer, they began dating openly, except, they always liked to invite me along. Hannah was bright and passionate. The way Liam looked at her was filled with devotion. He just didn't know that while he was looking at her, I was looking at him. I had traced the contours of his face in my mind 1,000 times. My eyes felt like they had been washed with rain, sad and damp, but I knew Liam first. Before the tears could fall, Hannah held out the camera in her hand to me. Zoe, take some pictures of me and Liam. Her lips were pursed, her other hand clinging tightly to Liam's arm, as if declaring her ownership. I lowered my gaze and took the camera. Liam put his arm around her shoulder and smiled at me. Zoe, thanks for this. In the camera, they looked so perfect together. The expression on his face was so bright and unrestrained. I knew he was truly in love with Hannah. The moment I pressed the shutter, I completely withdrew from this love triangle. I grew distant from them both. Later, Liam and I went to King's University, while Hannah went to a university 1,000 miles away. Before she left, Hannah smiled and told Liam to take good care of me, that she would find time to come home and visit us. I said nothing, just quietly maintained a polite but distant relationship with Liam, until 4 years later, when Hannah broke her promise to return. When she broke up with Liam over the phone, I was just a wall away and heard everything clearly. The usually calm Liam was questioning Hannah almost unreasonably, but all he got in return was her light laugh. Liam, don't throw a tantrum like a child. No one will stay by your side forever. She paused. If there is someone, it could only be Zoe. Why don't you two give it a try? Of course, I didn't try with Liam, but seeing him grow thinner and more haggard each day, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy. Every morning, I dragged him out for a run or a hike, frantically expending our excess energy. Then we'd have a huge meal outside, go home, shower, and crash. 2 months passed. His face was a shade darker, but his spirit had returned. From then on, we went back to the close, familiar relationship we'd had for over a decade. I never heard Hannah's name from his lips again, and I, in a tacit understanding, never brought her up. That name had been distant from me for 3 years now. Hearing Sophie mention it so suddenly, I felt like something was quietly slipping away. I was silent for a long time, and Sophie's tone grew anxious. "Zoe, are you listening?" I didn't answer. I lightened my steps and leaned against Liam's front door. I could hear him talking to someone inside. "Come on, Liam, stop overthinking it. Zoe is a really great girl. She's been by your side for so many years. Who can't see that she likes you? Don't mess things up just because Hannah is back." I held my breath instinctively. The speaker was our old classmate, Noah, the one Sophie called my boyfriend. He was also someone who knew the entire history between me, Liam, and Hannah. Liam's voice was a little hoarse, probably from drinking too much last night. Every time he drank too much, he'd forget to cover himself with a blanket. He'd wake up with a stuffy nose and a raspy voice, just like now. A hint of weariness laced his hoarse tone. "Zoe, I know she's great, but still, someone who throws herself at you is always lacking something. It's not as satisfying as the chase." A chill crept into my chest. My hands and feet trembled, my palms slick with sweat. I felt as if I'd been punched. My mind went blank. Throws herself at you. I never thought Liam would talk about me like that. I looked at the medicine and the fragrant seafood porridge in my hands and couldn't help but mock myself. He says his stomach hurts, and I'm up at the crack of dawn making porridge and buying medicine. If that wasn't throwing myself at him, what was? Liam wasn't wrong. I slowly backed away, turned, and took the elevator downstairs. Passing the trash can at the bottom of the building, I threw the medicine in without hesitation. Back home, I started methodically clearing out everything related to Liam. The stuffed animals he gave me, the matching figurines we bought at a comic convention, every birthday gift he'd ever given me, and the countless photos from over the years. I gathered them all, ready to be thrown away. To say goodbye to the past, you must first erase the memories. I never expected Hannah to contact me directly. She said she was disappointed I hadn't come to the reunion, so she was treating a few of our local classmates to another gathering today. I was about to refuse, but she cut me off. "Zoe, it's been so many years. You're not still mad at me, are you?" Mad at her for what? For stealing the man I liked. That wasn't something she could have done on her own. In the end, it was simply because Liam didn't love me. No one was at fault. I pursed my lips and finally agreed. The place Hannah chose was in the suburbs. Beautiful scenery, quiet environment. When I arrived, Liam was talking with Noah and Sophie. Seeing me, Liam stood up and walked toward me, instinctively reaching for my coat and bag, but I subtly moved away. "It's fine, I can put it away myself." He froze, his right hand awkwardly suspended in mid-air. I ignored him. After stowing my things, I sat down to Sophie's right. Noah was on her left, and Liam was next to him. Usually, when we ate together, I sat next to Liam. Liam frowned, his probing gaze landing on me. Sophie sensed something was off and leaned in to whisper, "Zoe, what's wrong?" I smiled. "Nothing, just," suddenly figured things out. I used to think that loving Liam was my own business, so even when I saw him kissing Hannah 8 years ago, I wasn't that devastated. I could offer my sincere blessings. After they broke up, I came back to his side to help him move on. I accompanied him, encouraged him, took care of him. Loving him, giving to him, had become a habit, but I had overlooked that my habit might have been a burden to Liam. He called it throwing myself at him. Suddenly, I felt that my 10 years of love had become a joke. A valley with no echo isn't worth leaping into. Instead of letting my heart be trampled on, I'd rather take it back myself and give it to someone who needs it more. Hannah arrived late. She was as beautiful as ever, and the years had added a mature charm. She was wearing a modern Chinese style dress, her hair loosely pinned with a hairpin, exuding an effortless grace. The moment she saw me, she pointed at my shirt and jeans and shook her head. "It's been so long, Zoe, and you're still dressing like a high schooler." I smiled and exchanged pleasantries. "Thanks for saying I look young." She gave a non-committal shrug, gracefully turned, and sat down next to Liam, calling for the waiter to bring wine. Liam stopped her. "Maybe you shouldn't. Doesn't wine give you a stomachache? I'll have to go get you medicine." His words were slightly chiding, but his tone was gentle. with a tenderness I wasn't familiar with. My heart clenched. He gets stomachaches from drinking too, but he would only tell me, "Zoe, my stomach hurts," and I would bring him medicine and nourishing porridge. Now, Hannah has a stomachache, and he knows to go buy medicine. So this was the difference between being liked and not being liked. Hannah beamed. "It's fine. I'm happy today, just a little bit, to enjoy the moment." Since she insisted, he didn't push it. With Hannah, he always had patience. I tilted my head back and drained the drink in my glass. Liam frowned, stood up, and reached across the entire table to take away my iced cola. "Do you know what day it is? And you're still drinking iced things?" His voice was tight, his tone severe, completely lacking the patience and gentleness he had with Hannah. My temper flared too. "I don't think that's any of your business, is it? Zoe, don't come crying to me when your stomach hurts later." I scoffed. "You're overthinking it." Liam finally sensed something was wrong. Just as he was about to speak, Hannah pulled something out of her bag and placed it in front of him. "I almost forgot. Here, your watch. You left it at my place last night," she teased him. "You're still the same, so forgetful after all these years." The table fell completely silent. Liam looked at me, his eyes filled with a hint of panic. "Zoe, last night." "Zoe, don't misunderstand. I drank too much at the reunion last night, and Liam was worried, so he took me back to my hotel. The watch was just accidentally left in my room. Please don't overthink it." Hannah's hurried explanation only made things worse. She didn't know that Liam had never even told me about the reunion. Or perhaps, she was pretending not to know. I finally understood the purpose of today's gathering. Someone had simply taken a wrong turn. And now, they wanted to get back on the right path. I raised an eyebrow and looked at Hannah. "Whether it was an accident or intentional, I won't overthink it. It's not necessary, and it's not worth it." The atmosphere turned cold, until Noah stood up, poured some wine, and toasted Hannah. "Hannah, it's been so many years. It's great to see you. Let me toast you first. When are you heading back? Let me know, and I'll see you off personally." Hannah smiled, finished her glass, and dropped a bombshell. "I'm not planning on leaving this time." She looked at Liam with deep affection. "Because I don't want to miss someone important again." Noah and Sophie exchanged a look. Stunned, Sophie asked with a forced smile, "I heard your studio in the city takes up an entire floor of the Hingyu Tower. Since it's doing so well, why would you just give it up?" Everyone at the table knew what she was implying. An entire floor of the Hingyu Tower. What did that mean? The annual rent was over 5 figures per square meter. The reason Hannah could afford an entire floor was because her ex-boyfriend was the owner of Hingyu. She had been with him for years, and there were even rumors they were about to get married. Then something happened, and the wedding was called off. Not long after, she came back. The color drained from Hannah's face. I knew Sophie's question was harsh. She was hurting for me. Noah and Liam were best friends. Because of Liam, I'd always had a good relationship with Noah since high school. Later, when he and Sophie got together, Sophie and I became best friends too. Sophie didn't know the details of our high school past, only what Noah had told her. She held a deep-seated animosity towards Hannah, who had stolen Liam and then dumped him. Hannah bit her lower lip until it turned white, her face filled with embarrassment. Liam slammed his chopsticks on the table with a clack. "Are we going to eat this meal or not?" His eyes were cold, his brow furrowed, and he looked at Sophie with displeasure. But Sophie wasn't one to be intimidated. She took a bite of food and said with a casual sneer, "I wasn't the one who said something that made people lose their appetite first." Then she put her arm around my shoulder. "I'm a straightforward person. I can't stand to see my friend being wronged. If you make my friend unhappy, don't blame me for making things difficult for you." Liam's cool gaze fell on me. "Zoe, are you really that petty? Did I say I was going to get back with Hannah?" Sophie rolled her eyes. "Who knows? After all, your taste has never been that great." Tears finally welled up in Hannah's eyes. She stood up, head bowed, as tears splashed onto the table. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have come back. I'll go now." She even stumbled as she walked away. Liam's face turned completely cold. He stood up, grabbing his coat. Before he chased after her, he said one last thing to me. "Zoe, you've disappointed me so much." I went home, gathered the bags of Liam's things I had left by the door, and took them downstairs to throw away. As I tossed the last bag into the dumpster, I let out a long sigh. It seems that letting go of someone you've loved for a very long time isn't that hard after all. I went upstairs, changed, and took a shower, feeling a sense of lightness. Before bed, I was scrolling through my phone out of habit when a message from Hannah came in. It was a photo. Liam was in a bathrobe, his hair damp, sitting on a hotel balcony with a vacant look in his eyes, lost in thought. The right people will always find their way back to each other, no matter how many detours they take. Zoe, you've lost again. My heart felt empty for a second. Then, a sense of relief washed over me. Perhaps this is what people call fate. Until today, I had always thought that Liam and I getting together was only a matter of time. For so many years. Besides me, he had no other close female friends. He was always the first to wish me a happy birthday at the stroke of midnight. He remembered my menstrual cycle better than I did and would scold me for eating cold things. In our senior year of college, he even angrily tore up a love letter a junior had given me. Later, after we started working, I rented an apartment near the office for convenience. When Liam found out, he rented another one in the same complex. Even Noah used to tease him. Liam, if I remember correctly, your company provides apartments for employees at your level, right? What are your intentions? Chasing Zoe all the way here? Liam would just smile and offer no explanation. My heart would flutter with uncertainty, but he never seemed uncomfortable. I didn't understand then that no answer is an answer in itself. I thought if I waited long enough, he would be moved. I only learned later that someone who truly cares about you will always make the first move. I opened my contacts, found Liam and Hannah, and added them to my blacklist. Call me petty, I just didn't want to cause myself any more trouble, whether in friendship or love. Moving forward with regrets is a mandatory course. I believe I can learn it well. The next day at the office, I opened the approval system and submitted my resignation. 2 minutes later, the extension on my desk rang. Liam's cold voice came through. Zoe, come to my office. Now. I sighed and stood up. At work, Liam was my direct supervisor. 3 years ago, after graduation, Liam chose this large multinational company. LJ, he had said to me, Zoe, my team is really short-staffed, come join me. And so I willingly gave up my plans for graduate school and came to this company with him. I've revolved around him for so many years. It was time to leave. To my surprise, Liam lost his temper. Zoe, can you not be so childish? It's such a small thing, and you want to quit. Hannah is still our classmate. Wasn't what you guys said yesterday too much? I nodded. It was too much. Terribly too much. That's why I'm too ashamed to keep working under you. Please approve that application quickly. I need to handle the handover. Liam pinched the bridge of his nose. Zoe, that's not what I meant. Let's just say I spoke too harshly yesterday. Withdraw the application, and I'll pretend I never saw it. I laughed. Liam, I'm not playing games with you. I genuinely want to resign. You know I've always wanted to go to grad school. I just feel that the time is right now. He scoffed. You've been working for 3 years, and now you're telling me you want to go to grad school. He crossed his arms and looked at me with a slight air of contempt. I suddenly felt that, over these 3 years, we had drifted onto completely different wavelengths. He was dressed in a well-tailored suit, an expensive watch on his wrist, exuding the arrogance and authority of a superior. I looked down at my own cotton polo shirt and remembered Hannah's description of me last night. Different circles. No need to force it, Mr. Kane. I've never believed that there's a right or wrong time for learning. Isn't there a saying? The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time is now. I'm only 25, and my future holds countless possibilities. LJ isn't necessarily the best choice, is it? Liam stared at me for a long moment. Zoe, are you determined to leave? I pointed to his computer screen. Please approve and sign, so I can proceed with the next steps. Liam's tightly clenched fist relaxed. He gave me a cold look, his voice indifferent. Zoe, don't regret this. Hearing the notification on my phone that the application was approved, I breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you, Mr. Kane. He slammed the mouse down hard. Get out. I spent a leisurely period at home. I'd sleep in, eat, tidy up, and then start reading. I wasn't lying to Liam. I really was preparing for grad school. I had given it up for him 3 years ago, much to the disappointment of my advisor at the time. Now, everything was just getting back on the right track. After lunch, I would go to the King's University library to study. Studying for entrance exams is actually quite monotonous. King's had the largest library in the city. It was mostly filled with students preparing for civil service exams or grad school. In such an environment, it's easier to focus and stay motivated. If there wasn't a ridiculously handsome guy who seemed to glow sitting across from me, I think my efficiency would be much higher. It had been 3 days. That guy sat across from me every day, surrounded by a circle of blushing young women. They would steal glances at him and whisper among themselves. Today, I was a bit late, and there were no seats left. Just as I was scanning the library for another empty spot, the guy closed the book in front of him. "I'm leaving. You can have my seat." A slender, fair finger tapped the seat in front of him. My gaze followed that hand up. The guy was in sportswear, with headphones around his neck and a pair of glasses on his high, bridged nose. He raised his deep, set eyes, glanced at me, and gave a slight nod. Strong features, a straight nose, and full lips, a face straight out of a 3D model. He picked up his bag, his seemingly lean but powerful arm brushing past my shoulder. My face grew warm, and I quickly covered it as I sat down. Not long after he left, the girls around also left in twos and threes. It was only then that I realized he had left a book on the table. It was Shunji Yui's love letter. Something was sticking out from one of the pages. Curious, I opened it. A bookmark was tucked inside. "Hi, my name is Ethan. I'm a senior at King's. I apologize for the intrusion, but I've wanted to meet you for a long time. If you'd be open to being friends." The coffee shop on the first floor of the library, the seat by the window, has a great view. Would you be willing to come see it? I closed the copy of love letter, a thoughtful expression on my face. Ethan was a very considerate person. When I was with him, I barely had to worry about anything. He would plan our outings, remember my food preferences when we ate, and walk slightly behind me. Whenever I turned my head, I could see him behind me, listening intently to what I was saying. It was unlike being with Liam. With him, I was always chasing his footsteps. He was always rushing ahead, never noticing how far behind I had fallen. Ethan was the complete opposite. He was 3 years younger than me but was thoughtful in every way. He had no classes on Thursday mornings, but he would still wake up early, cross half the city to my place, just to bring me the breakfast from the stall outside King's that I had been missing for so long. Spicy soup, fried rice noodles, crab roe soup dumplings, savory crepes, rice noodle rolls, bamboo, wrapped sticky rice, something different every time. I had his breakfast for 3 months, and every time I tried to pay him, he would refuse the money. He wouldn't let me treat him to a meal either. "With that money, we might as well buy ingredients and I'll cook for you. I'm a great cook." But in the end, he was the one who bought the ingredients, 2 huge bags, which Ethan lifted with one hand effortlessly. I laughed and teased, "It's good to be young." With endless energy, he blushed at that, his mind wandering to who knows where. We walked into my apartment complex, laughing and talking, and ran right into Liam and Hannah coming down from their building. They were walking side by side, like a golden couple. My smile vanished. Liam's previously expressionless face darkened the moment he saw me. I was in no mood to greet them and urged Ethan to hurry up. Liam called my name from behind, his voice laced with frustration. I sighed and said to Ethan, "You go on up and wait for me. I just need to say a few words to a friend." Ethan glanced at Liam, who was catching up, nodded, and considerately didn't ask any questions, heading towards my building with the bags. "Zoe, who was that man? Why is he going home with you?" Liam grabbed my arm, his hot palm making me flinch. I instinctively pulled away and took a step back. "I don't think I need to report my private life to you." Liam's face was icy. "You've really gotten bold. A single woman, bringing a man home, a man and a woman alone together. Do you have any idea how that looks?" I glanced at Hannah behind him and said nothing. Liam was at a loss for words, then tried to explain. She left something at my place. "Your private life has nothing to do with me either. Is there anything else? If not, I'm going back." Hannah walked up and linked her arm with Liam's. "Zoe's already brought someone home. Stop being so dense." She giggled, covering her mouth, with a look that said, "We all know what's happening." Liam's face darkened as he pulled his arm away and pointed a finger at me. "Zoe, I'm warning you, don't be so casual. Otherwise, you'll be the one to regret it." I kicked Liam hard in the shin, and while he was wincing in pain, I darted into the building. Psychos, the both of them. They deserve each other. Far away, Liam looked at the panting Hannah who had caught up to him and, for the first time, felt a sense of disgust for himself, disgust for his impulsive self. "Hannah, let's not contact each other anymore. I don't want to ruin my relationship with Zoe because of you." He gave the pale-faced Hannah a cold look. "Go back to your city, and watch your mouth." When the elevator opened, Ethan was leaning against the wall by my apartment door. His brow was tightly furrowed. Hearing the elevator doors open, he shot his head up. The moment he saw me, his frown smoothed out, and his Adam's apple bobbed. I thought, "You weren't coming back." I was already fuming. "You're a psycho too." He looked at me with his dark eyes and slowly smiled. As Ethan had claimed, his cooking was superb. After devouring the meal, I patted my full stomach contentedly. Ethan, I don't know who's going to be lucky enough to marry you someday. Handsome, smart, great personality, and his cooking skills were a huge bonus. I teased him. So, what do you think of me? Don't mind that I'm older. You know what they say, an older woman brings good luck. Ethan froze, his pupils constricting as if he'd just heard something unbelievable. I've scared the kid. I quickly waved my hands, before I could finish saying, I'm kidding. I heard Ethan reply in a low voice, you said it yourself. While I was still stunned, he had already swiftly cleared the table and taken the pots and pans to the kitchen to wash. Young men these days are so diligent, unlike that scoundrel Liam, who I'd eaten with countless times since we were kids and never once saw him lift a finger. My hand on my stomach paused. I suddenly realized that when I thought of Liam now, the heartache and fluttering feelings hadn't appeared in a long time. Even just now, seeing him and Hannah coming out of his place together, my heart hadn't stirred at all. I peeked into the kitchen at the tall, upright young figure. I couldn't help but marvel that there's only so much space in one's life. For someone to come in, someone else must go out. Ethan was very nice. After washing the dishes, he cut up some fruit and brought it out. As I was happily eating, Ethan suddenly spoke. Zoe, you have to keep your word. What? Ethan handed me his phone. On the screen was a social media post he had just made. Girlfriend. The accompanying picture was of me, sitting on the couch, holding a fruit bowl with a smile on my face. In just a few minutes, it was already flooded with likes and comments. The affections of a college guy, so direct and passionate. I think I was starting to understand what it felt like to be cherished. I picked up my phone and snapped a picture of Ethan's profile. Then I posted it. Boyfriend. Not long after I posted, Sophie called. You go, girl. Where did you find this kid? He's gorgeous. Her voice was high and bright. I quickly held the phone away from my ear. Ethan knew it was my friend, so he stood up, said goodbye, and started to leave. I'm heading back. Lock your door and get some sleep. I covered the mouthpiece and said goodbye to Ethan. On the phone, Sophie was shouting dramatically. Zoe, is the kid there with you? It's so late. I won't disturb you too. You guys get some rest. Flustered and blushing, I hung up. Ethan couldn't help but laugh. He ruffled my hair and gave me a light hug. I'm leaving now, girlfriend. After he left, Sophie called again. Why'd you hang up on me? So eager. Are you? Zoe, you better take it easy. Don't scare the kid away. She deliberately raised her voice with every word. I lowered my voice and asked her, what game are you playing? Guess. Oh, I see. Liam was with her. Sophie's laugh sounded crisp and joyful. Zoe, there's a fool here chugging drinks like there's no tomorrow. Want to bring your new boy toy over to watch? By the time I got to the bar, Liam was so drunk he could barely sit up straight, but he was still holding a bottle, trying to drink more. Are you guys crazy? How many bottles has he had? Sophie gestured with her chin. Don't look at us. He did it all himself. Noah couldn't stop him. Noah was sweating profusely. Zoe, I'm so sorry to call you out this late. Liam drank way too much. He keeps mumbling your name and won't leave. I really couldn't persuade him. Hearing my name, Liam looked up from the pile of bottles, his eyes drowsy and unfocused. Zoe, I stood still. Liam used the sofa to inch his way over and grabbed my wrist. Why did you block me? He pulled hard, and I fell onto the sofa. He squeezed my wrist. A flash of pain in his bloodshot eyes. Sophie said you're dating someone. I don't believe it. She said you just made it official on social media. I went to look, but I found out you blocked me. Zoe, is it that guy I saw this afternoon? His voice was deep and raspy, his hot breath on my neck. If he had reached out to me just once in these past few months, he would have found out, but he never did. Of course, how could Liam ever lower his head for Zoe? Just like in all the years past, no matter how small the argument, it always ended with me giving in first. I lowered myself to the dust for him, only to be described as throwing myself at him. Someone who tramples on a sincere heart never deserves to receive one again. Yes, it's him. We just made it official today. I'll introduce you next time. Liam closed his eyes and let out a dry laugh. Zoe, you're the worst liar. Made it official today. What a coincidence. Isn't this just your attempt to provoke me? I looked at him calmly. It really is that much of a coincidence. It's just that he's still a student and has class tomorrow, so he didn't come with me tonight. I'm busy. I wouldn't do something so boring just to get a rise out of you. A shadow fell over Liam's eyes. Zoe, I'm not an idiot. You've liked me for so many years. I could feel it. And now, after just a few short months, you're telling me you're dating someone else. Are you playing me, or are you playing yourself? He pulled me against his chest, looking as if he wanted to devour me whole. So, He knew all along that I'd liked him for so long, but for all those years, he never responded, never refused, he comfortably accepted my care, enjoying this ambiguous state of being more than friends but less than lovers, leaving me to guess, full of anxiety and sleepless nights, whether he liked me or not. The truth is, love is something you can't hide. If you can't feel it, it's not there. I can't believe I couldn't see that before. Liam, I get tired too. I also want to be taken care of, to be cherished, to have my feelings valued. He laughed. So, you were just looking for a life raft. You don't actually like him, do you? Thinking of Ethan. My heart warmed instantly. No, I like him. Liam's face darkened in an instant. Zoe, don't look at me with that expression. It makes me want to kill someone. I sighed. Liam, don't be like this. Hannah is already back. You don't need to act as if you can't stand me liking someone else. His eyes brightened. Is this because of Hannah? Is that why you're doing this? Zoe, I can explain. I unblocked Hannah's profile and showed Liam our last conversation. Still need to explain. Liam stared at my phone screen, his face ashen. That night, I drank a lot with her. I don't remember what happened afterwards. By the time I came to my senses, it was already. Drinking is no excuse. Liam, we're all adults. We have to take responsibility for our actions. I know the timing is bad, but, Zoe, I like you. I really do. He pleaded desperately, his eyes misting over, his hands gripping my shoulders tightly. I looked at him quietly, then pried his fingers off one by one. Don't insult the word, like. Liam, I'm glad I don't like you anymore. Sophie and Noah were getting married. I was a bridesmaid, and she had warned me early on that the best man was Liam. She apologized, explaining that Liam and Noah had been best friends since high school. I was fine with it. My house and Liam's were separated by a single wall. Even without this wedding, we would have countless encounters in the future. I couldn't avoid him forever. Besides, I had a young wolf at my side, his eyes dark as he pressed against me, insisting I take him to the wedding. Ethan, Liam and I are not what you think. You don't need to be jealous. He cupped my neck, pulled me into his arms, and gently touched my lips, his voice calm. I'm going to see for myself just how bad my girlfriend's taste used to be. At the hotel, Sophie's eyes widened when she saw me arrive with Ethan. She immediately pulled me aside and whispered, "Damn, girl, you're eating well." Ethan lowered his head and scratched his eyebrow, a helpless smile on his face. That smile sent Sophie into another fangirl squeal. He had dressed up for the occasion. He'd swapped his usual sportswear for a black formal suit, which gave him a more mature air. Zoe, you're here. Noah waved at me from a distance. Beside him stood Liam, his face so dark it looked like it was about to rain. Zoe, aren't you going to introduce us? Liam spoke, his cold eyes fixed on Ethan. Suddenly, he paused. You. Liam tilted his head, thinking, and then his expression changed. You're that freshman who gave Zoe a love letter 3 years ago. Sophie, Noah, and I all stared, wide-eyed. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Your memory is pretty good, senior, to remember someone you met once 3 years ago. My jaw dropped, and I pointed at myself. Who? A love letter for who? For me. Ethan shot me a wounded look. It's not your fault you don't remember me, Zoe. Back then, you only had eyes for one person. It really wasn't my fault. I remembered someone giving me a love letter, but Liam was the one who took it. I never even got a clear look at who gave it to me before he dragged me away. He was so angry, he even tore up the heart-adorned letter. At the time, I was actually secretly thrilled, thinking Liam was jealous. Thinking of this, I leaned apologetically towards Ethan and patted his head. I'm so sorry. From now on, I'll only look at you. Okay. His eyes flickered. He suddenly pulled me in and planted a kiss on my lips. Then he looked at Liam with a defiant expression. Of course, I'm the official one now. If I can't make you look only at me, then I'm not doing a very good job. The air was thick with tension. Sophie looked at Noah with concern. Honey, they're not going to start a fight and ruin our wedding, are they? Noah, no, they have some dignity. Well, they didn't fight, but what was with these two stone-faced statues flanking me on either side, as if in a competition? Ethan would scoop a piece of meat for me, and Liam would place a piece of fish on my plate. Ethan would tell me to eat more vegetables for vitamins, and Liam would say tofu was high in protein. In no time, my bowl was piled high. A vein throbbed in Ethan's temple. Senior, is it really appropriate for you to use your chopsticks to serve my girlfriend? Liam showed no sign of embarrassment. Zoe and I have been like this since we were kids. If you can't accept it, the door is to your right. I dumped the contents of my bowl onto my plate. Both of you stop. I've lost my appetite. Then I looked at Liam. Stop it. Okay. I don't want to embarrass you in public. The smile on Liam's face froze. Zoe, do I really not have a chance anymore? No. He had always been aloof. Hearing those words, a look of pain inevitably crossed his face. Can't you at least give me a fair chance to compete? We've known each other for so many years. Can you not sentence me to death for one mistake? I almost laughed out of sheer anger. You slept with someone else. How am I supposed to give you a chance? Liam looked defeated. That day was really an accident. I promise you, it will never happen again. The day we met in the complex was the day I made things clear with Hannah. I told her I like you now. I haven't contacted her since that day. Zoe, I really want to be with you. TCH. Ethan let out a scoff. And here I thought I had some serious competition. Turns out it's just a scumbag who can't control his lower half. Liam's face was ashen, his jaw clenched tight. You haven't even graduated yet, have you? You're just a student. What can you give Zoe? You can't even be sure you can support yourself in the future. I'm different. Anything Zoe wants, I have the ability to provide. On what grounds are you competing with me? Ethan leaned back in his chair, his arms crossed, a look of proud confidence on his face. A student from King's University is hardly a waste of space anywhere. Anything you can do, Ethan, can do too. In fact, I can do it better, because I will always put Zoe first. If I can't give her a good life, I wouldn't be able to forgive myself. On that point alone, you will never be able to compare to me. There's a joke that says the best gift a man can give a woman is his chastity, but that's something I see you no longer have, senior. With that, he stood up and took my hand. Zoe, let's go. I picked up my bag and coat. Liam suddenly grabbed my wrist. Zoe, it's been 10 years. Can you really let me go? I looked at his rimmed eyes, pulled my hand away, and said earnestly, maybe I just don't want to throw myself at someone anymore. Noah texted me to say that Liam got blackout drunk at their wedding. By the time Noah was free and found him, he was pale and unconscious. In his delirium, he kept repeating my name over and over. I texted Noah back, I'm no doctor, I can't help him. Sent him to the hospital. It was a long time before Noah replied. Zoe, I was so wrong. I'm sorry. Who sent the reply no longer mattered. I locked my phone and let Ethan's hand intertwine with mine as we walked across the bustling field of King's University. Do you remember? 3 years ago, right here, we met for the first time. I guiltily touched my nose. Seeing this, Ethan wrapped his arms around me. It's okay. If you don't remember, I'll tell you the story. 3 years ago, I was playing basketball on this field. I went for a ball that was about to go out of bounds, moved too fast, and fell, landing outside the court. I couldn't even stand up. A group of freshmen panicked. They even forgot to call for the campus medic. It was you who pushed through the crowd, checked my leg, and diagnosed it as an avulsion fracture. Then you calmly organized people to get ice, a splint, and call the medic. By the time the medic arrived, you were already applying ice to my leg. The medic praised you for your quick thinking, saying it prevented further swelling. Then, you helped him put on the splint. You were so calm and gentle. It was incredibly captivating. Even though I was in a lot of pain, your tranquil presence had a way of calming people down. The image of you stayed in my heart, so after I recovered, I gathered the courage to give you a love letter, only to have it unceremoniously torn up by someone. At this, Ethan cursed. I should have punched him in the face right then and there. What right did he have to tear up my love letter? I never expected to meet you again 3 years later. You have no idea how excited I was when I saw you sitting alone in the library. Thankfully, I was brave one more time. Ethan tilted his head, reminiscing, the smile on his face as brilliant as the morning sun. The same place, similar crowds. In this moment, time, with its stunning, strange power, traveled back to me. The boy clutching his ankle in pain and the Ethan holding me now, smiling at me, from a blurry, out of focus image to a clear one. They gradually merged into one. It turns out, fate had been written long ago, and thank goodness, I wasn't too late.